You're listening to the John and Heidi Show. Now, featuring the wit and wisdom of Dan Ferris.
Okay, dudes, let's walk this sucker.
On Sunny 93.3.
It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris. Good Tuesday to you, sir.
Hey, congratulations to you two.
Oh, on what?
John and Heidi Small. This just happens to be National Hug Your Sweetheart Day.
She hugs me all the time.
Come on, lock and load.
Get over here.
Little sugar over there. Look at that. Oh, wow. That's adorable.
That was not. It was not a hug. I'm sorry.
And to offset that, it also happens to be, and I have no idea who comes up with this stuff, but the do, and it gets put on calendars everywhere. It's National Blind Dog Day.
Oh, that's sad.
I just saw a video of a blind dog finding a puddle. And this dog was like jumping around and splashing in the puddle. Dog was so happy, and the video made me smile.
And
then
the
I
whole
thought,
thing
I'm
was
sad for this
the
blind
whole
dog.
thing was accidental.
I know, but it was like,
Basically, a dog fell into a pool, John.
Well, it all worked out though.
I mean, what do you do? It's not you can't get him a card.
No.
Can't play fetch. You ain't taking him hunting. I don't know what to do with this. I literally don't.
I bet he'd be a snuggly dog. That'd be good.
Wow. Holy
National
moly.
Blind Dog Day. All right.
Who has birthdays? How did she get this old? This makes no sense to me. Barbara Jean Moorhead.
Who was?
Barbara Eden, I Dream of Jeannie.
Oh, gosh, I loved that show.
Is she still alive?
She's doing one. She's 91.
What is she doing stuff now? I haven't seen her anything forever.
Well, she's 91.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you're saying she deserves the opportunity to retire and I should be
Sure,
quiet?
she's just sitting in her little manse, counting her money and looking around for a
I always
blind
thought
dog.
she was so pretty.
She really was.
Very much so.
And she probably still is.
Yeah. Wow. Holy cow. Well, that whole I Dream of Jeannie thing, that's like cult status anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That series. Would that run about 3-4 years, something like that?
It was fantastic.
It was interesting because that came out and then Bewitched came out. And there were people who got those two confused.
They were
from
kind
time
of
to
similar,
time.
a
Yeah,
little bit.
similar but completely different.
Wow. Okay. And again, someone else, and there's just some people we go, how are they getting older? Well, they are. Diane Chambers.
Oh, yeah, Shelley Long.
Cheers, Fraser, Shelley Long. Yep. She's 73.
Nice.
73.
Time just kind of sneaks up on all of us.
Yeah, then
doesn't
all of a
it?
sudden she's Carol Brady in the 1995 Brady
Yeah,
Bunch
that
movie.
was horrible.
That was just
No,
what?
That was
good.
horrible.
It was nice.
And this one's for Heidi. I know she's a big fan. I believe I've seen photos. Dr. Noah Drake. Rick Springfield.
Rick Springfield, yeah.
Is 73.
Yeah.
Did you watch General Hospital as a youth?
I didn't. I was a Days of Our Lives girl.
Yeah, because I mean, this was rock and roller. Rick Springfield. All of a sudden, he's Dr. Noah Drake. He was dreamy.
He still is.
He was dreamy.
He was dreamy. Still
He
dreamy
still is
at
pretty dreamy.
73? All right, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, we're going to hearken way back. The year was, are you ready for this? 79.
Okay.
Not 1979,
Nope.
just 79.
Just 79.
Wow.
Just 2 digits. That's it.
Is that the year Cher put out her greatest hits album?
Yep. Volume 2.
You knew where he was
I stole
going.
Dan's joke.
And it's
I'm sorry.
it's a lot funnier when I say it.
It really is.
Was this day in 79 happens to be the feast day of Vulcan. Vulcan being the Roman god of fire. Celebrations going on in Pompeii.
Oh, wow.
Mount Vesuvius says, yeah, you know what, fire, got your fire right here.
Boom.
Boom, destroys
Yeah.
Pompeii and everybody in it.
Yeah.
Talk
Yikes.
about irony.
Yeah.
That's irony right there.
Spock
Yeah.
was Vulcan.
Yeah, he was a Vulcan, yeah.
So was he there?
There's vulcanized rubber and all that. It all has to do with heat, man.
Yeah. And a volcano blew up and killed them all.
Just like that.
Man.
It was 1305. Oh, sure, it's all fun and games until this happens. You know, it was a huge movie. It was Mel Gibson, right?
Okay.
In Braveheart.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love that.
Great face paint, looking good, whatever. This day, 1305. Scottish patriot leader Mel Gibson, or William Wallace,
Yeah.
tried for high treason by Edward I in England. Found guilty. They weren't just playing around. Sentence, hanged, drawn, quartered, beheaded.
They just wanted to make sure.
Killed him like 17 times.
Well, they just wanted to double check and
Wanted
make
to
sure.
prove a point, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable the way they
Yes.
used to do business. And just for treason. These days we just reelect them.
That is true.
Wow. That works no matter which side of the aisle you're on. So
It does, doesn't it?
it's not political at all. That's
And I don't know if you guys are old enough to remember these or not, but boy, I remember struggling with these as a youth. It was 1904. Harry D. Weed, inventor out of New York, is awarded a patent for snow chains
Oh, yeah. For your
attached
car.
to tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make for
we had
better
those when I was a
traction in
kid.
snow and ice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember breaking out the old chains.
I remember
We
watching
never
a car.
put those on our vehicles.
Well, because you lived in almost a tropical climate of Iowa. We lived in South Dakota, and Dan was in the Twin Cities. When I was a kid, I remember seeing a vehicle that had some snow chains on, and they didn't have them latched properly. And
That was a problem.
part of the chain. It destroyed the car.
Yeah.
It ripped the whole front fender off.
Well,
I was
even
like, I couldn't
even
believe
they
how much
were
damage was done.
doing, correctly and having them attached correctly and everything else. It really beat the heck out of the roads too.
Oh yeah, I'll bet.
Big time. But yeah, chains, you could hear them coming a mile away. Everybody had snow chains on, man. Winters were a lot louder back
there was no
then.
sneaking up on anybody with those things
I haven't
on
seen
your
those
car.
in years. Can people even still do them? Is that still illegal?
I think every now and again you'll see maybe like a working vehicle, utility vehicle of some kind. Yeah, I
Ice
think
trucker.
you can still you can still get them, and they're great in gang fights.
Oh, yeah. Hold on a moment. I got to grab my snow chains.
Just wrap it partially around your shoulder, forearm. Oh yeah, Jet Shark,
Bring it on.
whatever.
Man.
All right.
I can go down an alley snapping both fingers. So
See?
there you go. I know, you know, we all know. We just bounce forward.
Gonna do that. It's the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris.
Join us in October for The Sands, a week of music and fun that's been described as the best week ever by many of our guests. This year, we have more icons and more fun. Culture Club, The Cult, Loverboy, Belinda Carlisle, Lou Graham, Vanilla Ice, Samantha Fox, Firehouse, and many more. Plan to join us October 25th through the 30th at Planet Hollywood Beach Resort in Cancun, Mexico. This all-inclusive event will be the time of your life. Learn more now at radiotravelgroup.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show bonus hour. Right now, our bonus is Mr. Brent Baker. How you doing, sir?
It's a good day.
It is a good day. We're excited to have you on the program here. Now, we've had a chance to visit with Brent about a lot of different things when it comes to real estate. And today we're going to talk about some frequently asked questions when it comes to closing. Closing is kind of the finish line, isn't it, when it comes to selling your home? Because first you're getting the house ready and then you're getting it sold. But it's not sold until you go through closing, is it?
Correct. So closing is the grand finale. This is where, everything comes to a head. So, buyers are a little bit shocked at the volume of paperwork they sign, but that's where they sign their true mortgage and all of their other documents. And it's where the seller signs off and releases the property to the buyer or the buyer's lender.
Yeah.
So that property has to transfer with a clear deed. So any unpaid judgments, liens, and so forth have been dealt with prior.
Nice. And that's something that a lot of details involved. So there's a lot of people that are in the room when you're doing this, at least the last time we did one. But who all comes to closing? Who all attends that?
So at a closing, typically the buyer, their agent, and then the agent from the title company. So, and I use the term agent from the title company, but these are notaries who sit down and walk that buyer through all of the documents and explain them. And the realtor is there at that point, one, to provide comfort to their buyer, because most buyers are pretty nervous.
Yeah.
The other thing is occasionally a question comes up, and we need to get those addressed now. We don't have the luxury of going back. So when at all possible, the realtor is there, and just to do those two things specifically.
Now, where is the closing typically held? This isn't at the home. It's usually somewhere else.
Correct. So many years ago, they used to be held at banks when banks were in that business. Today, we close them at what are called title companies, or abstract companies. So when I'm in Minnesota doing a transaction, there are still many, many abstracts. I see more abstracts than I do deeds. However, a title company typically does that. And you mentioned earlier there's a lot of people involved, and there are behind the scenes. But I do have in one area where I close at an attorney's office. It's a not very populated area, and this attorney has been doing this for many, many years and does a nice job. And so, but typically a title company is where we do this.
So when it is time for closing, what do I bring to closing? Just a pen to sign stuff? They probably even have that, don't they?
Well, they'll supply you with a pen, and it will be in blue ink. As a buyer, you bring your driver's license, and they'll make a copy of that. And if you're bringing a cashier's check, typically funds are wired, but occasionally you're bringing your cashier's check. No personal checks. And a seller, they just show up.
Nice.
Unless there is some other arrangement. Occasionally there's a few things on the side. If you're selling an acreage, there might be an exchange for the propane that's in the tank. But sellers mostly just show up and sign off.
Very nice. Now, what all happens at closing? Because I know there's quite a process that takes place. Closing takes a half hour-ish, somewhere around there. What all is happening during that time?
Well, typically a cash buyer is going to be done in roughly 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But a financed buyer, typically it's 15 to 20 minutes. Occasionally you'll have somebody with a specialty loan or just has a lot of questions, and that might string it out a little bit. And I've had a couple of those this year, a super nervous buyer asking endless questions and kind of running overtime. But 20 minutes, but in that time, the representative of the title company is explaining the documents that they're going to sign. And in a nutshell, they're not going to go line by line.
There's a lot of papers,
There's a lot of paperwork there. And is pointing out where to initial. There's some questions to ask. And they keep the process moving along.
Nice. If somebody listening is saying, because we were talking about closing, again, that's the finish line. Mm-hmm. But if there's somebody listening right now that's maybe at the starting point where they're going, I know I need to sell my home. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. You can help them, not just across the finish line with closing, but you can help them with that starting point as well. And I suggest you reach out to Brent Baker. He's a good guy. You've been doing this a long time. You're very, very experienced in this. How do people get a hold of you to maybe help with the starting point?
Well, I can be reached at 605-310-0297 or brentbaker@kw.com. And I really prefer to sit down and have a seller consultation or a buyer consultation. Buyer consultation, I like to have at my office in the conference room so we can walk you through all the documents that are going to be involved and the steps so that when it's time to pull that trigger, we're not uncomfortable about it. We already know what's coming. Sellers, it's just really walking them through a few things and phases. This year we've had a few cases of where the people have been there 40, 50 years. It's the only house they've ever owned.
Yeah.
So it's completely foreign to them. And so it's very important that we walk through that first so they get comfortable with that idea as they move toward property preparation and so forth.
And again, if folks would like to reach out, I'll have you give a phone number one more time.
605-310-0297.
And his website is clientsfirstgroup.com. Again, our guest today has been Brent Baker with Keller Williams Realty and Clients First Group. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
If you watch the news, you've probably heard about interest rate hikes and other financial factors that could make you a bit nervous. At BetterCreditCards.com, we continue our commitment to help you get a better credit card. On the website, BetterCreditCards.com, we have different kinds of credit cards. Some with better points and perks, some designed to help you build your credit. Whatever stage of life you happen to be in, we want to help. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
And now stuff Dan finds interesting.
It is time for Stuff Dan Finds Interesting. Dan, what do you find interesting on this Tuesday?
We tend to stay away from touchy subjects.
We sure do.
Certainly, we never venture into areas of ideology or things that might be controversial.
No, we do not.
But I feel a need to, I want to talk about trannies.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm going to wait and see where you're going here.
We'll let Heidi calm down a little bit. I love a good tranny. How about you, John?
Yeah, sure. Are we talking about transmissions here, Dan?
No, there's an article in The Atlantic that just came out, a story called The End of the Manual Transmission.
See?
And I'm bummed about it.
Now I'm disappointed.
It's about the demise of the stick shift.
I could drive a manual transmission.
And what's happening? Because, I'm kind of sort of in the market for another car right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm punching it up and I'm going, nope. Might love the car, love it, look at it, go, this is perfect. But then there's automatic transmission. I'm like, nope.
Next.
I love the stick, man. I
Me too.
do. I just love the driving.
I haven't had a manual transmission in years. I had one, and Heidi didn't like it because she couldn't drive it. She also didn't like it because it was a Geo Metro convertible.
Yeah, well, a lot of people over 40 kind of learned to drive on one. My first vehicle that I learned to drive was my brother's 56 Chevrolet, 3 on the tree, baby.
Yeah.
Right there on the column.
Yeah,
you shifted, you clutched, you geared.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Back in 2000, approximately 15% of new and used cars sold came with manual transmissions or stick shifts.
What's
you
it
had
down
drive.
to now?
By 2020, that figure dropped to 2.4%.
2.4.
Whoa.
Among the hundreds of new car models for sale in the United States this year, only 30 of those models can be purchased with a manual transmission.
Are most of those sports cars?
Yep.
I was going to say, that's typically where you see those now.
Yeah, they're not even going to be an option now with a lot of them. In fact, Mercedes-Benz plans to retire manual transmissions entirely by the end of next year.
Really?
Huh.
And part of it has to do with, the EVs, the electronic vehicles.
Yeah.
Part of it has to do with they just don't know. And this happened to me, and this was my bad. My son Luke,
Yeah.
was in the military. At week's leave, came to see me here in Sioux Falls. Okay, let's say he was 19 or 20 at the time, something like that. And I taught him how to drive, but I taught him how to drive. It was a GMC Sierra pickup truck, which was an automatic, by the way. That's what he learned to drive in. Anyway, he comes to town. I had 2 vehicles at the time. He's going to go see a young lady he was good friends with at Washington High School. I said, oh, you're going to go see Ashley, whatever, blah, blah. Yep. I said, well, here. Take the Mustang. And I throw him the keys to the Mustang. And he stood there and he goes, are you serious? And I thought, oh, he can't believe I'm giving him the Mustang.
Yeah.
But then what he said next was,
I can't drive.
I don't know how to drive a stick. And
Did you feel like a failure as a dad?
Oh, you know what? Very next day we went up, because summertime, the very next day we went up to O'Gorman, the parking lot.
Oh, yeah.
And by the time the day was over, he could drive a stick.
Yeah.
But I thought, how did I let that slide?
Exactly. No, and the thing is, I taught both of my kids. I don't know if either one of them would want
remember.
But I taught them, I said, this could literally be a life or death situation where if you know how to drive a stick shift, it could save your life someday.
Yeah.
So it's something everybody should learn.
And I
You don't
know
need to be
how.
super
I
good,
learned
but-
in driver's ed. I just didn't enjoy it. And I haven't driven one in a very, very long time.
Driving a manual transmission vehicle has been a lifesaver for some people because I saw a video where a person, it was a CCT, like a closed circuit television, where a person carjacked them, and the carjacker got back out and ran away because they couldn't
can't
drive
take
the car.
Yeah, I've seen that.
See, that's part of the reason I like them, too.
Yeah.
Because I just know at some point, somebody's going to try to heist my car.
Yeah.
And they're going to get in. Well, no, they're not. But say on the off chance they get by me, it's just going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
The look of just dumbfounded
What do I do
stupidity
with
on
all
their
of this
faces.
stuff?
How come you got an extra pedal, mister?
Yeah. Why are there 2 brake pedals?
I don't know. How come you're bleeding profusely, young So, modern times, things change. I mean, you almost never see a rotary dial phone anymore either. You know, but it is what it is. I think it's just kind of sad, though.
It is sad. It is also interesting. Dan, thank you for the update, sir.
Hey, thanks for letting me share, guys. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. It is the John and Heidi Show bonus hour with Dan Ferris.
While other wireless companies raise their prices, Mint Mobile has taken a different approach. You can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Let's say that again so you hear it right. $15 a month for unlimited premium wireless. Why would we do that? Because we can. If you're paying too much for your wireless phone, it's time for a Mintervention from Mint Mobile. You can sign up today at Mintervention.com. Premium wireless for just $15 a month at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
Here's your Market Beat Minute for Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022. Equity markets fell hard Monday to not only confirm resistance at the S&P 500 level of 4,300, but to break through potential support at the 4,150 level as well. The move also confirms a much larger head and shoulders pattern that has been in play all year. This pattern not only has a long-term but deep implications that could lead the S&P 500 down to the 2,700 level and keep it trending at low levels for an extended period of time. The major culprit for the move is slowing economic activity and the possibility of a deepening recession. This week, the biggest risk for the market will come on Friday with the release of the PCE price index. The index is expected to show a slowdown of the monthly advance of consumer-level inflation, but for core consumer inflation to remain at record levels on a year-over-year basis. A better-than-expected figure could send the market higher, but a worse-than-expected number will most definitely send it lower on an increased expectation for another aggressive FOMC interest rate increase. You can get the inside track at MarketBeatMinute.com.